bit of a paint session here, and I literally left this exactly how it was the other day, so we need to make space for myself. I'm in my own way here, so okay. Let's have a little bit of iced coffee because I'm already fading and I got stuff I need to get done. So let's just take these knights and put them away. Let's just put them away somewhere for now. Let's see if I can find me. Grab my bag of plastic bags. I got a whole Ziploc bag here full of little Ziploc bags, so I'm not going to worry about sorting these guys. Right now, we're just going to take a sandwich-sized bag and put all these extra command figures in. We need to get rid of some of this clutter. And all the horses that have chainmail on them. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but we've got, we're going to use them for something down the road. And then the other horses that just have the cloth. And extra riders here. There's a Russian, he can go back there. That's it. You put all this stuff together so I can think, otherwise I get distracted by all these other things and they're in the way. And I've seen many paint areas that are extremely messy, and yeah, I can't work in those kind of conditions. Let's put this here. I'll take these little figures over here, put them back here. That's the auxilia. All right. This is what we're going to be working on next. The flags didn't come in from Little Big Man Studios, although I did get an email saying they were shipped out on, they were mailed out on the 4th of September. So it's been like a week now. So we'll just see when they come in. Yeah, we can start how we work on it. So, the game day, guys, is a theme game. So even if these guys were done, it wouldn't really matter. But I did do something that I've been talking about doing that I hadn't gotten around to doing it, and I just did it moments ago. And that is to, where we left off is we put the flag on this guy, the flagpole, and we glued that down. This is on my knight here for Edward de Brus's command stand. So I took a drawing that a friend of mine from Australia sent me that he found on his heraldry, and I put it on Excel and made it basically a white flag with a blue lion on it. It's got a crescent inside the blue lion. Okay, so this is supposedly his heraldry. Now, if you look for him online, you'll see him with the heraldry that has a red chevron on a white field. So that's actually what the figure is going to have. And I may decide to put this same emblem on his shield. Okay, so there you are. Good morning, Greg. Here's your here's the thing you sent me. I printed it in a couple different colors, a couple different sizes. So see which one we use. But we're definitely going to. So what I envision is a certain knight of some denomination for this guy. Edward de Brus is going to have the white caparisoned horse with red chevrons on it. He's going to have red chevron on himself as well, front and back. and the shield may have this symbol on it that I'll hand paint. Okay, now this will be on his flag. I'm not sure which size I'm going to use yet. Probably this one, but that's going to be on the banner guy. Okay, who is not going to have anything blue or white on him, so that he'll stand out from that. As a matter of fact, this guy is the guy I'm probably going to use on there is a guy I brought up yesterday. His name is looking in the Bannockburn book here. His name is Alexander de Seton. Okay, and he is a Anglo Norman Anglo that has let's see here, this guy here, and it is a red shield with a a yellow banner, a yellow line going diagonal, and then some red crescents on it. You can't tell that it's what color it is, but as the banner bearer, okay, because he's actually a guy that not only did he go to Ireland with him, but he actually died there. So I'm not sure who this guy's going to be, but there's two other knights that I know that went with him, that I have heraldry from, and one of them also has a lion on his symbol. So I don't want to put that particular figure carrying the banner, because then it's going to look like this is the flag for that guy, and it's not. It's the flag for Edward, and I think that's why I'm going to try to do the lion on his shield, so that it ties him and the flag together. Okay, so I know I'm over-explaining it, but that's the reasoning for it. I just don't arbitrarily do things, so not stuff like that. So, but anyhow, so we've got our flags here. I don't think I'm going to seal them or anything, and I'm going to try and see how they work without being without any shading and stuff on them. So we may just leave them alone. If I don't like how they look, I'll probably put them in a drawing program. But I'm thinking put them in the drawing program, blow them up really big, and then with my pen on the computer and go and try to do some shading. But I would have to start from square zero on this, so I'd actually be a lot happier if I could shrink it with a photograph and then print it that way. I don't know. We're going to try doing it like this because we got lots to do, so I don't want to spend 20 hours doing a flag for one dude. Okay. But anyhow, that's my thought process on what I'm doing and why. Okay, so you can go away. You can also go away for now, and we're going to work on old Eddie here. All right. And we only had a small dosage of coffee because I do need to stay awake, because it's just past 8:30 at night. But I've had a hell of a week. I'm worn out, so. I wouldn't mind crawling into bed right now, but I got stuff I got to do. So, anyhow, let's see where we left off. Oh, look, we got lots of paint that's still wet. All right. The banner does look good printed out. Looking to see it attached to the standard bearer. Yeah, well, hopefully we can get all these guys done this weekend. This stand done. We're going to give it an old English try. So. Hey, I sent you guys over here. Why'd you come back? Go away. Excellent knights. Okay, so we're going to start off by painting the caparisoned horse. Now, normally I would paint the color of the horse first, but I don't know what color the horse is going to be, other than he's going to be dark. And the reason why is because on the horse are going to be very light. So just for contrast purposes, that's what we're going to do. So let's tile here. Hey Kevin, how you doing this evening? Out in Arizona stand. Let's grab all our usual suspects. Those should all suffice. Those are the ones that we're using. All right, so he has a white draped horse. Okay, so let's see what we're gonna need. I don't think we're going to need white, but I don't think we're going to need white right off the bat. Okay, let's, what color is this? I got an ivory floating around here somewhere. That's not it. That's pale sand. We could use it. That one tends to be pretty lumpy. Not a good mix. What's this? Is elf flesh or something like that? I don't think I have an elf flesh. This is light flesh. Carne clara. To call this light flesh, you've got to be a lunatic. I guess it has a tiny little bit of pink in it. I bought this color, and I don't think I've used it once. Not a very useful color, but let's get this out of the way. I'm afraid of knocking that over. Let's see here. Let's see if I can find that ivory color. This is not rehearsed. Here's ivory. Damn near the same as white. Well, we'll put it out here. We're gonna do a mix in anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. Okay, let's go ahead and pull the red out. We know we're gonna need that. And I'm not sure if I'm just gonna use flat red or scarlet, or I've got one other one that's also the just red, flat red, or this one that they like to call vermilion. I don't know if these are that much different from me. And obviously our metallics as well. Let's just bring chocolate brown out here, because if anything, we'll just use a drop of that stuff. Nope, chocolate brown. I'm not dealing with Army Painter tonight. Okay. All right, so let's try using the ivory first, right off the bat. All right. So what I envision, I'm going to paint all of this in like the darkest shade that the white is ever going to be. That's the. Oh, don't make me bend over. I've been over all week. It's the weekend. No more bending over. This one should do fine. Been bent over all week. This is the longest short week ever. A 4-day week that seemed like it was a month long. Okay. Motivational juice. Although calling it motivational drippings is probably more accurate. Let's get this out of the way. I think we need to put the water pot there. Thank you. Just roll all over the place. All right, let's tighten that down. Have a focal point. Glasses can be over there. Technique, gluing them to tin foil so you can create folds. Yes, I saw that too. I don't know that I'm going to do that. I don't know. I've never done it before. I've seen it, but I don't know. This might just be a test bed, because if it looks too, that's the reason I like to use the Pete's flags, because Pete's flags, I think, have an equivalent look to the rest of my painting. So in other words, I don't want my painting to be super detailed and I have this flag that has like two colors, like it's either white or 20 hours painting a flag, if I can avoid it, because I can buy the flag, but I can't buy the figure. I've got to paint that myself. So anyhow, hey Wardrobe, how are you? I watched a little bit of your video today. I liked your ramble. I think it's better that way when you don't have things scripted. But anyhow, I'm 11.45 hours in build, cogitating about what color to paint this stuff, and yeah, I actually like that. I like that, the cogitation stuff, and I love the British. I love chieftains. I had back in the day of playing Combined Arms. Okay, because we did Command Decision in the late '80s. Then Combined Arms, I think, came out in like '89 or whatever. you know, and we did some of the gaming with that. But if I was going to do modern, I would do it before M1s came out, because M1s kind of freaking ruined everything. It just seems like they're just invincible. And if I did do M1s, it would be the ones with the early ones with a 105. So at least you've got chieftains that have a 120. You know, they've got more penetration than the 105s. But yeah, I've never played any of those Team Yankee things or something like that. I'd be tempted to, if I was going to do Team Yankee, to do it in GHQ models, and then keep the same ranges for the other stuff. So maybe it'd be more realistic range wise. But I don't know. I like British. When I did combined arms, I did not have any Americans. I had Russians, Bundeswehr, and British Army of the Rhine. So that's the ones I had. I like the British stuff. I also like one of my favorite British vehicles, post-war vehicles of all time. Doesn't seem to make it in any army list unless you're doing something like in the 50s, and that's the Saladin armored cars. That's a cool freaking vehicle. And I'm a big fan of British armored cars, anyways. Those World War II Humbers and stuff. They're really cute. They're really awesome looking vehicles. So I'm partial to those. Okay, let's mix in. Let's get out Mr. Ivory. Now, what's this other guy? Oh, this is the Pale Sand. I'm not going to go with the Pale Sand because I'm going to mix in some brown. So there's no point in doing something that's off-whiting this color with actual white if we need to. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. And all right. Yeah, you were doing some T-64s also. That's my favorite Russian tank, favorite Soviet tank, because it could fire those damn missiles out of the tube. Another thing would be interesting to do if we're going to do post-war is do something like around 19, between Korea and Vietnam. So you could get like M47s. You could get those American heavy tanks. What were those? Those M103s or something like that. You could get some of those. Plus, you could just do a really neat variety of stuff. And yeah, 5 scale. So each tank represents a platoon. So there was 3 M1 tanks, so a company of them, that ended up holding up like an insane amount of Soviet armor at a bridgehead. They just couldn't get over the bridge. It was just strewn armor everywhere. It was like, okay, well, this is no fun. So I preferred to play with the British, and especially the Germans with the Leopards, because the Leopards can be penetrated. You know, if I remember correctly, pretty much all of the that, but not always with the same difficulty the same ease the other way around. So, um, but you know, freaking Gorbachev freaking ruined it all. So I'm not sure what the I guess the plot of Team Yankee is like Red Storm Rising, right? Or like the book Team Yankee, which actually I read way back when that came out like in '86, and I think I read it in I was still in high school when I read it, so somewhere around '88 or something like that. I read it. Um, I didn't like it too much because it was just focused on a group of just one group of Americans, if I remember correctly. But I like Red Storm Rising. I need to like get that on Audible and listen to that again. But I got so many damn credits, I need to use them up. The problem with Audible is that I only listen to it when I'm going to and from work. I'm not listening to it while I'm doing my hobby stuff. So I'm not able to, and then when I'm doing yard work also, I do that, which, in this weather I don't want to do a whole lot of. But so I'm only listening to it about an hour a day. Because I'm doing this instead of listening to the books, because the books actually put me to sleep. Not as much as actually reading them, but the interaction between what I'm doing, questions, what kind of keeps me awake. So that seems to work a lot better for me. This ivory is old and crusty, and we're going to see what we can do about being a necromancer to bring it back up. Thank you. We got this. If it gives me too much trouble, we're just going to use flat white and add a mix in there, and you guys won't even be able to tell the difference. So, don't get to see pictures. I don't know what that means, Kevin. Don't get to see pictures of the stuff that I used to play way back when. All my micro armor's gone. You know, if I was going to do micro armor now, honestly, I would get that. If I was going to do a 1 to 5 scale game, I had mentioned this earlier in one of my other videos, I would actually go, instead of 6mm 1/285th scale, I would go to 3mm. That stuff that Pico Armor makes. I believe it's a company out of Poland, and they're really cute, and you could mount them like on a counter. No, you don't get to see pictures in the Audible books, but I also don't fall asleep while I'm reading. So I've read quite a few books on that, so I've been very happy with it. I would make a counter that would be, you know, I'm going to say the size of this matchbox, but probably smaller. You know, maybe a square. What would that be? 1 inch by 1 inch, and then I would put whatever the whole platoon of the tanks on there, like in different formation vehicles, even though they only behave as one. I don't know. I'd just give it. I think it'd be a lot cheaper because GHQ is pretty expensive these days. Didn't used to be. It used to be $5 a pack, and what are they, like $10 a pack now? I mean, they're beautiful. I used to think that when they carved them, this thing is just not going to work. You are going to be a ninny. Let's see if we can add some balls to this and make something happen. Bring out your balls. I used to think that when GHQ, because that's my first gaming, is all my stuff was GHQ, because I either did micro armor or I did 1/2400 scale ships. So it was all GHQ for the most part, and I used to think that all the GHQ stuff was somehow done, you know, carved by hand in a large scale, and then they had some kind of magic reducer that would reduce it. I had no idea that they were actually done in this. Somebody's sculpting them in the actual scale that they come out in. That's amazing. Come on, dude, you can do it. Come on, Ivory. I guess I could just buy another one, but I'm not going to. This is a color I don't really use that much. Although it looks like I may have, because it seems at least half empty. So let's see what we got here. There we go. It's a little watery, but that's no big deal. I paint all watery anyways. Combined arms. Yeah. I didn't like combined arms and command decision for the infantry rules, especially command decision. I just felt like it was an armor game, and the infantry was just like, whatever, you know. I didn't like that the unbalance there of the interest in playing one over the other. Combined arms is a little bit better because the infantry has built-in anti-tank weapons and stuff. So you've got like some stands that have like dragon missiles and laws and all that kind of stuff. Milans. That makes them a little bit more viable as a threat to the tanks than they do in the World War II game, which you damn near need to close assault with them. So, but you know, it was the 80s, so. But we played quite a bit of that. Ooh. There we go. That's a little bit better. Man, look at all the red in this. It looks very red. All right, let's try. I'm not really digging that. Yeah, this will be okay. What's the worst thing that could happen? I repaint it? Not that big of a deal. Close that little box so I can see what's going on. All right. And that's a bit bright. So I do like Old Glory horses. Um, and because they tend to look like I envision the horses to be like an animal you could get some guy on that's heavily armored that could go crashing into, you know, other groups of folks on the ground. I have a bunch of these knights for my Normans. Now, there's one other YouTuber that I follow, and way back when he did this thing where he was analyzing the Bayeux tapestry with the Normans, and basically came to the conclusion that the Normans really wouldn't have. And I'm saying Normans because I have a lot of these Norman horses. They basically the same size horse, but they just they don't have any coverings on them. Okay, and they should have been riding some kind of pony. And he gave kind of descriptions of how it is, and he backed up his facts. But I don't have any of these Norman figures that are riding ponies. So they're either all wrong. So I have a bunch of horses I wouldn't be able to use, but it just at the end of the day, it doesn't look right. So maybe it's correct that they should have been riding ponies, but it just doesn't seem right. It's kind of the same thing with the Teutonic Knights. If you're going to build Teutonic Knights, what are you going to build them as, right? You're going to cover them in white sheets and the red and the black crosses. And I've read some things that's not necessarily accurate, but that's what everybody associates them being. So, I guess it's kind of like this history class I had that, he'd go over the test, a history class a long time ago. He'd go over the test and he'd give you the right answer. And then he would also give you what he would like to call the right wrong answer. And maybe that's the right wrong answer, you know? So it was the answer that it wasn't correct, but it made sense that it would have been that, and but anyhow, I'm not going to convert my Normans to riding ponies, because it just doesn't seem right. I mean, they already have overhand spears, so you like if they're riding ponies and they use a spear overhand, and it looks like they're not charging into people, so they're designated as knights in DBA, so that's what we're going to treat them as. So. But I do like the Old Glory horses, and they give you a variety of poses in there. Nothing bugs me more than getting a bunch of a manufacturer's horses, and you got like 12 figures to put in an army, and they all have two poses of horses. One of them is looking off to one side, like 90 degrees, and the other one is looking down at 90 degrees, like the earth is, like the ground is exciting. It's like it's really hard to make 12 different figures on the stands look like you didn't just throw them together by two different horse poses. Whereas if you've got something around the lines of, 4 to 16 different horse poses, four to six different horse poses, you're able to mix those up, and it looks a lot more realistic. It doesn't draw your eye to, why are all those horses just pointing straight down? So that's my gripe on certain manufacturers that I won't mention who they are, but they're named Essex. I don't like Essex horses, but I don't like most Essex horses. I shouldn't say that, because there are some that are okay. But that's usually the problem they have, is they have weird poses that don't seem natural. That's actually my problem with Essex, is they have unnatural poses. So, let's see. That's okay. This guy, the guy that sells javelins. This guy. That's just a weird pose to have. Not that it's done badly. He's sculpted pretty well. He's a little short-legged, but that's okay. They actually have nice faces that paint up really well. But it's just an awkward pose. So, to have more than one guy in that pose is just, I think, kind of odd, you know. But I'm not going to rip on Essex. I've bought many of their things, and they have good service, and they produce just about everything. Just about every figure manufacturer makes something worth a damn. Mix and match, and have a really varied looking army. If you're building an army that has irregular type troops, you know, if you're building Romans, maybe you don't want to do that, you know. But if you're building, you know, a feudal army that has levies from all kinds of different sources, if you're building something like my Turkish army, something that has, you know, any feudal armies is like, okay, bring your troops with you, you know, and individual knights or lords or whatever bring their entourage, and they're all kind of a mismatch of stuff, then mixing manufacturers, I think, is the way to go. So all we're going to do with this guy is we're just going to put this bottom layer so something's there, okay? And we're going to paint the chevron on, okay? And in doing so, you know, I already screwed up the order. So let's go back and do it. What I needed to do at this point was to do the dry brushing on his chainmail. So let's go ahead and do that. And if I go over some of this white, it's not a big deal. I'm just rambling too much. Well, I'm trying to rev myself up so I can stay awake and get this guy knocked out tonight, because this is past my bedtime. This is I do my best painting from 5 a.m. to like 8 a.m. in the morning, not from 8 p.m. to 11. That's not my my cranking time. Okay, so here is the infamous lead belcher base that I transferred over to these little eyedroppers, and we'll see how they work. It should be a little bit thinner than last time. I'm gonna have to put a lot down. And let's get I know I didn't pull a dry brush out, or a brush that I don't mind sacrificing to the dry brush gods. Let's use this one, because once you use one week. All right, so let's grab our color here. And put that on here. Because he's got chainmail going all the way around his feet. And this is the guy who's going to be Edward de Brus. Okay, that's good. Let's clean that up. It's the only coffee I'm going to allow myself right now. Let's see. Kelly Davis says, I have some 28mm early Crusades era military orders to finish. Black with white crosses. There you go. Kevin Brownell, like my Essex late Romans, go well with my tabletop games Romans. Romans for variety. But you have late Romans. They're a little bit more ragtag than if you're doing, say, Marians, where you want them. Well, I want them all to be the same. I'm fine with them even being the same pose. I mean, there's nobody as orderly as those early type Romans. You know, the Polybian and the Marian Romans, and even the later impies. Okay, so we've got that on them. So now let's go ahead and do the chevron. All right. So which one of these red we're gonna do? Let's do this. Let's see what this vermilion is. Vermilion. Vermilion. Let's see what we're dealing with here. Yeah, that one's good. Let's put some right here. It's awfully watery. All right, where's the black? And we're going to go really light because this is almost like I'm going to sketch this in. So I envision it to be somewhere in this zone and somewhere in like this zone. So let's go ahead and mix this in with black. Stand it down a little bit. And when I'm doing detail stuff like this, I like to do it like one stroke at a time. So I don't want to do like a V, like in one stroke. I want to do one half and then do the other half kind of stuff. But I'm going to go really light. So I'm going to go actually a lot thinner than it would normally be. So I want the midpoint to be about here. So I'm going to come in and then I'm going to come down. All right, I'm going to do the same thing here. And I may not get it right the first time. I may not, you guys may like it and I may hate it. So I got veto power on that. I've got to be the one to please. We'll do the same thing here. All right, so now we've got a chevron that looks like that. That's at least the center point. I'll do one side and then like, okay, so the equivalent would be like here and here, okay? We're gonna go here and we're gonna go here, all right? So we're gonna have some of this hidden underneath there, all right? Now, since this is pretty intense, we're just gonna go ahead and fill this in and however thick I think the chevron would look good in, which is gonna be, I think, about that thick, okay? So, is there a Chariot Heavy Book 1 DBA Army? I want to paint up a Chariot Heavy force. Okay, Chariot Book 1 Heavy Army. So we've got, well, it depends how many chariots you want. Hittites, one of the Hittite armies, I believe, can have 2 or 4. The Assyrians, the middle, and the later Assyrians, what they like to call the Sargonids, they can have heavy chariots. The early Carthaginians are a Book 1 army. These are the Carthaginians before they encountered even Paris. So 3rd and 4th century BC. Who else? The Chinese. There's several Chinese armies that have heavy chariots. There are, which is funny because there's actually some heavy chariots in Book 2 as well. The Chinese armies in Book 2, the warring states, they also have as their main core heavy chariots. Now, I don't think any of those have a list. If you look Book 132, the early Joe has, I believe, a command heavy chariot and 3 other ones it can have. That's the Joe list, which is, but is spelled ZHOU. So, other heavy chariots in Book 1. Let's see, who else? The Hittites are the earliest one. Date-wise, because the Hittites are like Book 130, something around that, like that. Who else? The Cyrenian or the Cyrenian, those guys can also have a couple of heavy chariots. Maybe it. That's the only people I can remember right off the bat that can have them. in book one. So I've got the later Sargonets to do. Am I ever going to do them? Yeah, probably not. At the rate I'm going, I'll probably never build them. There's too many people already have Assyrians, and Mitch already has Assyrians. Did look pretty. I like painting those umbrellas for the chariot. I like painting the reins. Don't get me wrong. I have one chariot army. I have the Terracotta Warriors, which is book 2, 4. The Chen, and but book 1, that's I think all the ones. Just going off memory, book 1's the book I know the least. I'm the least interested in it because of there just isn't a lot of information known of all this stuff. There's too much to invent. Okay, so the more you go into modern, if you want to kind of paint them realistically, the more you go into the modern time period that we live in now, the more information survives about how things were organized or what have you. So book 1 doesn't have a whole lot of information, but the only thing they can garner any kind of information on those armies is from the Old Testament, and any steles that survive from those civilizations. So, yeah. Okay, so we got our chevrons in. All right. So I'm pretty happy with those shapes. We could probably tinker with them a little bit. Let's start adding red and building those chevrons up. Now, I probably should do the knight, actually his dressings as well, but we're not. We'll come back and just do the knight guy by himself. Right now, we're only going to focus on the horse. So let's take this same color and we're going to add some more red to it. All right, then we're going to come in here and start filling it in. So that the closer that we go to the center, the more of this true color is in there and less of the black. And it won't be very evident right off the bat, but that's what we're going to do. The army of all the books, I would say, is the least. It has them in the same armies, like everybody does New Kingdom, Egyptian, Assyrians are popular, Hittites, that kind of stuff. There's so many armies that nobody gives a second thought to even doing. And part of it is they don't make any figures, and part of it is they just don't, people want to do the armies that conquered stuff. So the people that are obscured and just got paved, nobody's out there doing them. So okay, see how we're doing the. You can't even tell in this light. So it's getting there. There's not a whole lot of wrinkles in this. So I am going to do some highlighting on that, but it's not going to be extreme because there's not a whole lot of three-dimensionality to it. That's building this up slowly. Add some red, bring this up. You said you like the ancient British, Kevin. I had a friend of mine just finished the ancient British. And they whooped my ass thoroughly. Wasn't okay. All right. So now let's get some yellow out here because we don't want to highlight in white. Can use a light yellow. But any armies you guys aren't interested in one bit? Like if you never in a million years, if you would, there's like 500 and something armies. Which stuff doesn't interest you guys at all? That should be good enough, even though it really didn't come out that well. So I know lots of people that aren't interested in Asian armies, for instance. They're almost all good, decent. Almost all of them have combined arms. Okay, so we got this painted, we got it highlighted, but we're not going to keep highlighting, we're going to stop. That gives us enough of an idea of what it's going to look like, the coverings. After we look at here, Chinese are hard to paint. You can always paint them red. If you're doing Han, they're simple. The problem with the Chinese is not a lot of people make figures for them. So not until recently, Kurosan's released quite a few of them, and there's a couple other manufacturers. Of course, Essex made a lot of their figures, but I understand a lot of them are based on sources that are not accurate by today's standards. So it doesn't bother me any. I had so many of those darn figures from the my son convert my 2.2 army to 3.0. I just went along with the same figures, and just had I not had all those figures bought, yeah, I'd probably do something different. But yeah, you're now starting to see some, especially Chris more than anyone else I've ever seen. They just pretty much just really focused on the obscure stuff. Instead of having, yet another manufacturer that makes Imperial Romans and Carthaginians and Greeks and, the stuff that everybody already, now they do have some common stuff, some common areas that, or figure lines that some other people make. There's lots of stuff that people make, like Crusaders. Crusaders, just about every manufacturer makes Crusaders. So, let's see, is this brush too? This brush is too big. Let's downsize a little bit. Let's downsize and let's go to, what's this guy doing here? No, it's this one. No, I can't see too good. All right, let's do this one here. We're going to add these folds and stuff in here because this is a cloth, supposedly. Hello, Sarah Studios. Do I have any vitamin T? No, I'd go bedtime without vitamin T. That's tequila, for those of you that do not know what that is. Nope, no art projects and alcoholic beverages, or I fall asleep. I've got a little bit of coffee, a very little bit of coffee, because I don't want to stay up all night, but just enough to power through the next hour and a half or so. I don't know if I can get this guy done tonight, but we can certainly get him done by the weekend. and build these guys up slowly. So no armies nobody's interested in? I'm kind of prejudiced towards armies of Islam. So in other words, they interest you? Um, Most of them are pretty good. Rich guys I had, they've been getting their ass kicked. I played in 5 battles, they won in 1 game. So some of it is die rolling, and but people look at them and they go, "Oh man, they have all knights." Yeah, that doesn't mean anything. They get themselves in trouble with that. So well, I think the thing that the Muslim armies have going against them more than anything else, from my standpoint, is um, most of them really didn't have like a set flag or banner. Remember, I'm a flag guy, so um, my Carthage guys, they used a red banner. That's actually one of the big reasons why I built them, is I wanted a Muslim army that had. I didn't have one. Well, that's not true. The second army I painted with the Berbers, but I wanted a I wanted another Muslim army, and this one had red banners. So I'm like, well, that's cool. But then I find out the banners, all they have is an inscription on them. So that's not that exciting. So we tried to, replicate something there that was an actual saying or equivalent, but the information just isn't there. So, if you were going to, there's not a big incentive for me to like go and build like an Umayyad, like an Arab conquest army, and then turn around and build an Umayyad army or an Abbasid army along with the Arab conquest, because a lot of the stuff just you don't have the information. Now you could probably use many of the troops common to all of them, but short of Abbasids used black flags, and the Umayyads used white ones, and that kind of stuff. A lot of stuff just isn't known. So there are a lot of Arab figures that I think are very pretty, and they paint up great. I love playing the Turks, and I love painting them, but they fight horribly. They're like 16 and 42 or something like that. I'm with them. I'm prejudiced against armies with a high aggression, because when you have an army with a high aggression, you might as well not even build terrain for it, because you're not going to get to place terrain. So what that means is I don't mind not less to cogitate. Sometimes I get lazy and don't put enough terrain down. But I think aggression is way too important. I think that even with I think the defenders just has too much control. But unfortunately, all the armies with high aggression are the armies you want to build, like the Alexanders and all the conquerors who went on the offense that everybody knows about. I mean, I know why they did it the way they did it, but the side effect that you have is that you've got like the Mongols, for instance. The Mongols are incredibly handicapped and wants open ground, and they're not going to get it if they lose the terrain rule, which is easy to lose because they're an aggression 4. So unless they're fighting another aggression 4 army. So, but anyhow, that's I'm kind of actually trying. I'm trying to actually paint armies I'm not interested in, and well, there's got to be some kind of interest, but not the obvious choices, so that I can kind of get interest in painting them. Like for instance, these Irish. Who'd have thought I'd build this Irish army? They kind of suck. They don't suck. They're very light, so they're not kind of unusual. None of the figures are exciting. They don't have cool helmets or anything. I mean, hell, most of them are barefoot. And but I've had a lot of fun painting. You guys don't need me to paint a Carthaginian army. There's enough of those laying around. So I'm kind of enjoying doing the more unusual armies that, especially if they aren't as exciting. So, what's the highest aggression for? So now if you have somebody like Genghis Khan, the Mongols, with aggression 4, and they're fighting Alexander, which is also aggression 4, they each have a 50-50 chance of getting versus another die roll versus the aggression. Whoever rolls lowest is the defender. They'll get to pick the terrain that they get to place on the board. Yeah, I just don't think DBA handles the Mongols well, or any kind of light horse archer type army. They do okay against mounted troops, but against foot, I don't think they're represented well. You don't get done playing with them and go, oh, so that's what it feels like to be a Mongol commander. No, it doesn't feel that way to me. So. I'm pretty much interested in just about all the armies except a select few. So I see most of them have made figures, and I think they actually used to, a company called Mikiaro figures that are kind of primitive, but something like those the Maori from New Zealand, because they're like all blade. They're all one troop type, and the figures aren't that exciting, and no flags or nothing, and it's like one troop type. Or like the guys that predated the Aztecs, the Toltecs. Okay, Toltecs. Nobody makes figures for them. They're all blade, every single one of them, and nobody makes figures, and they don't have a banner or nothing. So I know why nobody makes figures for them, because there just isn't that much information on that stuff. That's those guys that built those big heads that came out of the ground, almost like Easter Island, but obviously much smaller. The round heads you see in Mexico, whatever, they predated the Aztecs, and they were warlike human sacrificers as well. So, nice folks to have as neighbors, right? I'm not interested in armies that have all of one troop type. They're boring. So, like, what is it? I think a couple of the Indian tribes from North America. No, I need to have a little bit more, variety than that. So. So this has taken several passes to build this up, but that's just one of those things. I guess there's shortcuts you can do, but this guy ain't gonna do them. I don't want to look at it this tomorrow and go, man, this looks pretty good, but man, I could have been really look better if I would have just taken my time. Well, that's what we're doing. We're taking our time. On the chevrons, but I just kind of wanted to kind of gauge brightness. And lots of people are interested in book one. I'm not very interested because of the whole, almost all the foot on some of those armies look almost exactly the same. Guy with a loincloth, or no banners, no flags, that kind of stuff. Not a whole lot of information. If there is information, it's kind of hearsay. I don't mind playing them. I just I don't feel enamored to try and build those. Let's finish this off and then take a swig of some water. Where did I put it? Put it out of harm's way. Here we go. Yeah, the one troop type kind of kills it, because it's not, it's like if you're playing chess and your army has only pawns. It's not very exciting because you can only kind of do one thing. You don't have combined arms. So All right. Add some more of this color here. There we go. There we go. Let's make this pop. And I'm going to have to take some fake pictures of my figures in daylight, because the pictures I've been taking here on this painting desk just honestly just suck. I'm fighting the light from this too much. So I'm a painter, not a photographer. So if I try something about 6-8 times and I still can't get it, I'll just move on. Okay, now you're starting to... This is only 720. It doesn't look that great on there, probably. But tomorrow morning, I was hoping I was going to do a paint session in the morning. You know, like first thing, like starting at 5 a.m. But that's not going to be able to happen because got out of a pretty early commit. Maybe in the afternoon. Because my camp's going to be coming relatively soon, so I got that infamous pack of sheep all over there. So here's the build-up. What if I hold them here and let's see, and did that. Anyhow, we're building it up. There we go. It's a battle cry of boredom. I just made that up on the spot. Battle cry of boredom. Yeah, some people can't wake up early. I can't stay up late. I'm burned out, so. Let's add a little bit of this for highlighting. Man. Well, we've gone an hour. If I wasn't filming, I wouldn't have been painting this long. I can tell you that already. With this highlighting of this for the most part. Man. Machination Studio. Hello. Woo, first time live. First time you've caught me, though. That might be what you're saying. Yeah, just Painting a little night guy here. Okay, so we're going to leave the white alone. We're going to come back to the yellow. I mean to the red. So let's pick up the red here. We had a little bit of highlight on it. Let's come in here and I have a hard time staying up late because I'm still going to wake up at 5, no matter how late or early I wake up. So now we've got a little bit of a border on there, but there's the red chevron. So what I was getting at was, let's see if I can pull that the flags here. And we're going to go ahead and cut this down to size because this is way too freaking big to be messing with this right now. Let's get Mr. X-Acto knife. There we go. Because now I have a pair of scissors handy. Let's get these. Scissors are for girls. No, I just don't have one handy right now. I don't want to cut on my cutting mat. And cut on the cardboard that's on the cutting mat. Okay. Let's cut this down to size so we can manipulate this a little easier. So now what we're left with is this that we just printed on our printer. Now, what I envision is, if you guys didn't catch the beginning of it, there's going to be 3 knights. He's going to be in the center. He's the commander. Got a guy on his right, and I got a guy on his left. The guy on his left is going to have his personal banner. Okay? So, there's a red chevron. So in order to tie the two together, I'm probably going to paint this little lion on his shield. Okay? So, again, it looks insane, but you can get pretty close by just kind of winging it. So the trick is to just take one line at a time. Don't try to do the whole darn thing. And it's a lot easier than doing 2 of them. I only have to do 1, so because that's going to take some. Is painting this little guy on his shield. Now, which flag am I going to use? Well, I printed these on Excel. I didn't know how they were going to print out. This one's too small. This one's not bad. And that one's not bad. So probably one of these 2. That's just too big. So anyhow, that's my thought process. Now, before we get into the figure itself, let's do the horse. Now, we have a light caparisoned colored horse. I mean, heck, it's white. So we want a darker type horse underneath. So when in doubt, just get good old chocolate brown and let that one just do the job. So that's what we're going to do. We have some of that laying out here. We do. Right there it is. And yeah, let's get down with chocolate brown. See, I've been trying to paint just about every day this week, and it's difficult to do it Monday through Friday because there's just not that much time that's available. More to turn the camera on and all that stuff. So let's see if we can't move this over here. Is this? Yeah, it's the one. Okay, let's get some black. All right, and we're going to get the horse here. A Knight General. So supposedly this guy was very aggressive, and that's what got him killed. He was very aggressive and not have the numbers for it. So just so you guys know, those of you that enjoy, just kind of a short recap. Last Monday we did have a game, but due to various circumstances, it was filmed, but I'm not putting that video up. It's just way too chaotic, and we had like 6 people show up. I'm trying to film 2 people playing. 4 people watching and carrying on while 2 people playing is not a good combination. So it's a shame, but I don't want to put that crap product out there. So Monday we're getting together again. This coming, making 0 attempt to film that. So the problem we have is the opposite of what most people have. When will there be more videos? Well, we'll just have to see when people don't show up as often. So we've got 2 people from out of town coming to visit our game day on Monday, and that's bumping our numbers up on that day. So maybe the following week we'll be able to do it. But I assure you, you will have some gameplay videos as long as you can have some gameplay videos, because I want to film them. But, you know, I also don't want to... I don't want to put something out there that's going to make it seem like, oh, all your videos are going to be of this crap quality and everybody's going to talk over each other. I'm just going to stop watching your stuff, because that's not the case. But anyhow, that's why I do painting all the time, because I can paint because it's just me. But when you involve other people, things sometimes go sideways. So if you don't see another gameplay video for a little while, don't worry. They're coming as soon as we can. I bring the camera equipment every time with me. So, and I would consider maybe doing it twice a week, but it's just too damn hot right now. It is just way too hot. The last thing I want to do when I get off work is more heat. So, that shed is hot. Okay, so we've done with the bottom coat of this guy. Let's go ahead and do the muzzle of the horse while we're here. Just going to add white to this. Paint the horse there. Maybe a little bit of highlight there. Now, right. Upload it titled clearly that it is a rare socializing video. Nah, I'm not going to do it. I really cogitated about it, and there's language to beep out, and I'm telling you, it's gonna run people off. I'm not, you know, I really wanted to show it because we got 7 games in, but it's gonna be a hard cap. I think the most you can handle is you can have 4 people, 2 people watching, 2 people playing. Any more than that, it's just not going to fly. So there is, there's way too much stuff to and listen to the whole thing and edit it and put people's photos and stuff on it and showed the armies, but it's just a mess. You guys want to see gameplay video? There's over 100 other ones there you guys can see, and there will be more, but you know, this is that we were going to film. 4 people were supposed to show up, and then 15 minutes before we start to film with the idea of filming, 2 more people showed up out of nowhere. So at that point, it's like, okay, do I do a cock tease and nobody gets to see a video that I said that we were going to film, and I don't get to film, which I like to do, because it's a lot more fun talking to, because weird stuff happens, and it's fun to share that stuff with other people. So, do I screw myself and everybody else at the last minute because two people showed up at the last minute they couldn't plan? Hey, it reminded me of work when you have to do planning and everything goes sideways. Yeah, I don't expect sideways stuff on my free time when I'm not getting painted. So I just made the call. Well, let's go ahead and continue filming, but it was out of control. So just imagine a bar fight with no fight. It was kind of like that. So yeah, hard stop. A fifth person shows up, we're not filming. So maybe we need to run people off. I know several people. They're like, man, I don't have anybody to game with because of the shutdown or whatever, and we've got the opposite problem. So I guess that's fortunate. The other thing is that there's no air conditioning in that place. It's two window units that are extremely loud. That doesn't seem that way when you're in there, but they're extremely loud. So it basically means is you wouldn't be able to hear if they were on as well. So we've got a crowded room that's noisy with no air conditioning running. Eh, No, no. So maybe we need to find a different venue to do film games in instead of there. But anyhow, try it next time. Okay, so we're done with that. Let's bring the horse up a little bit. I played in weren't very exciting because I got my ass beat so damn fast. I'm on a 9-game losing streak. I've lost the last 9 games, but I've lost so many games, it doesn't really matter anymore. It's like, what's another game? I've lost over, I don't know, 400 games, something like that, of DBA. Won like 600, but still, it's no big deal after you lost. So I mean, it's just a game. So it's fun. One of them was so damn. The first two, I got my ass kicked so fast it wasn't even exciting. So all right. So let's go ahead and highlight this up a little bit with some white. And so on Monday, there will be no filming unless some people don't arrive or, get into you know, an issue or something and they don't make it. So we're gonna put socks on this guy. I'm not gonna put socks on this because if I do any white stuff on the legs, it's gonna be really close to the white on the covering, and it's gonna look weird, out of place. So that bad, huh? Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. Let's put it this. So I'd rather just not put it up there. Because I don't have a child friendly lewd, but it's not PC, and the F-bomb gets dropped, and not at someone, but I mean, it's not like you're listening to Lewis Black, but you know, it's all for emphasis. So Okay, I think that's what we may end up coming back to the brown. Let's go ahead and do the let's do the dude himself. So let's get the guy done. So I think what we need to do is and all right. So this guy's got, I believe this helmet is called a Sugarloaf Helm. So it's like a barrel helm, but it's got some different shape to the front. So we're going to put some bronze. He's got some vertical parts on his helmet. We're going to put that in bronze just for so it stands out. But for the most part, it's going to be in this metallic color. And then we'll highlight it with the bronze, which my metallics I haven't been using Vallejo for because the Vallejo metallics kind of they kind of suck. They're very gummy, and it's the consistency of them more than anything else. When I've got other options like these citadels are much better for the metallics. So I don't use the metallics um, for put a little bit more here. I don't use the Vallejo metallics when I'm painting. Oh, I already do. That's just over here. And I got so much clutter in this stuff. After these nights are done, this thing simply because it just to avoid some of the confusion. So this is the email that's there. So we're gonna cover. This is an axe that he has on. Just decided to make him an axe man. He still has a sword there. He's just not using it right now. I tend to like knights with lances and not hand weapons unless it's a leader so that he could stand out. Generally, that's kind of the formula that I use. So if he's a leader, he's going to get some kind of a hand weapon, or I got a couple of these guys that look like they're fist bumping. Something like that. Something kind of, not carrying a lance. So, um, all right, so we did his helm. Now let's go in and um, let's go in and do the bronze. Now, the Vallejo bronze is a great color. It covers really well. This one here. I don't know why this chat box comes up here. So, Vallejo Air Metallics and their metal color are much better than their game and model color range metallics. Metal color range. Okay, what is this one? This is. This just says model color. I've had this one a long time. This one covers really well. Covers really well. So, but like this one doesn't cover worth a damn. This natural stuff got an oily one as well. But so we're gonna highlight some things in bronze. Then we're gonna drop some Nuln Oil on here to give it a little bit of depth, and then we'll start painting his vestments. Word of the day. And we're just going to have this go across the front of him. And we'll go ahead and do the visor in this bronze color. And looks like this goes all the way to the top, so we'll paint the top also in a bronze. Okay. No other bronze needed on him at this time. Alright, so we're going to paint his vestments. Now, metal color is another type of bottle altogether. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the Games Workshop metallics seem to work really well. At least the ones in the current bottles and the original one. Mithril silver. My mithril silver still hails from probably 1988. This one right here. It's 2/3 full. It's full like here. So yeah, this stuff's amazing. So this only I use this very little, very like if I'm going to use like a sword or something like that. That's really shiny. Yeah, that's the only thing I use that for. So. Okay, vestment time. So he's also going to be wearing white, also going to have a chevron on him. I'm fine doing, let's see, what did I use as the darkener on this one? I used ivory and that brown. So let's use a different brown. And that way, if it looks a tiny little bit different, it's okay. We're going to use the SS Camo Black, which is really an extremely dark brown. Okay. Let's mix up a batch. Now, where's Ivory hanging out these days? She's over here. Okay. Yeah, this makes it look even grayer. I could have used black. I just didn't feel like doing black yet again. So same thing. We're going to paint all of these vestments in the darkest shade that this is going to be in, and then I'll come in and do the chevron in the middle and everything else. So. Okay. So we got all that painted on there. Have this red that's alive blue. And that's I think the real advantage of using the wet palette. I don't have to pull this red color back out and all that. There's still stuff I can use. It's more of a time saver than a paint saver. Okay, so we're gonna do again this kind of in the middle here. And Get some Z. See you tomorrow. We'll see you later, Joe. Oh, not yet. I'm not at a stopping point. I am not on a stopping point. I'm going to push as hard as I can get this guy done. I don't think I'm going to do his lion shield. That's a bit too far. We have to wait till tomorrow afternoon to do something like that. Tomorrow afternoon to do something like that. But we'll at least be able to get through this. Maybe the figure painted here with the. I believe it's this one right here. Oh, too much of a difference. It's not make it that desperate of a change. There we go. Okay, and oh, look at that. I didn't paint the front of this. We'll just do it now. I even wanted to paint these guys so badly. I even for didn't watch the new episode of The Boys, which is already out. I wanted to watch that this morning, but I guess it doesn't come out until Pacific time. I'm guessing, so we'll just have to watch that at some other point during the weekend. So one of the few shows I watch. Okay. That piece of flash. Let's see. Yeah, at some level, my tools. There we go. That's not it. Okay, where'd it go? Looking for my X-Acto knife. Come on, I can't be much more anal retentive than I already am. Is it this one? No. Okay, where's the other one? It's floating around here somewhere. I'm gonna spank that thing when I find it. Oh, here it is, but all the way where it shouldn't be, off to the right. All right, let's take care of this. Like, there's like a little bird that I missed here. We want to make sure we don't. Nope. I guess I'd already taken it out of there. So. we're going to finish highlighting this all the way, and then we're going to call it a night. Because it's 10:15. I've been up since 5 a.m. I'm pretty tired. Now, Sunday, I don't have anything to do Sunday or Monday early, so we'll have a big, long painting session from maybe 5 a.m. to 8 for sure. For sure, for sure. Everybody be asleep during that time, so, except me. Okay, so we're going to stop right here for the night. I'm achieving burnout here. Now I'm just tired. Not burned out on this. I want to keep painting some more. So the what miniatures that I use in my Sung Army? They are they're Naismith. So that's what they are in the Sung Army. They're very similar to the Essex ones. So if I was going to build a Sung Army now, though, I would definitely go with Coruscant because they're the better figures, in my opinion. So there he has his chevron on the back of his vestments. Anyhow, okay, we'll catch you guys later this weekend. The weekend's only begun, so hopefully lots more painting come up. Have a good night, Kevin, and we'll see the rest of you guys on the flip side. Happy painting, folks.